Monday, October 27th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time. It is time for you to put aside all pretenses, deception, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to our folks listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. Coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate studios in New York, and you can call in the next 3 hours. It is Hot Button Monday. All you have to do is call me at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And people are also sending in messages to our message board, which is at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Go to live stream and put a message board like Laurie Jones has put up. Hi from Chicago. How are you, Laurie? Good. P. Jackson is saying hello from Long Beach, California. Well, thank you, P. Jackson. And Democracy.Fund says, Shepard Sharpton, happy to be here amongst your beautiful flock. Happy to have you, Disco Brian, and the whole group there on your purposeful site that you do good work. All right, we have a lot to talk about. It's Hot Button Monday. A lot to talk about. Let me tell you, as you know, I get up early mornings, watch the news, go down in the gym, work out for half hour after I've done my prayer and meditation. And I started taking a lot of notes. Things would happen as I see in the news happen while I'm working out. And I said, I need to talk about this on the air. And one of the things that hit me early this morning, working out, they were reporting how Donald Trump, president of the United States, he's in Asia. In Japan today, going to meet with the first female prime minister of Japan. And then moving on, and his next stop is the meeting with Premier Xi of China. And they're going to go back and forward over the tariffs. And he's put a lot of tariffs on them, and which has really hurt the soybean industry in the United States. Because the tariffs, when he put them on, they froze purchasing. China froze purchasing their soybeans from American farmers, which was one of their biggest, if not the biggest, customers. And at the same time, to show the schizophrenia that reigns supreme in the Trump administration, at the same time, he's gave $20 billion to Argentina to help save their economy. And Argentina started selling its soybeans to China because China was no longer getting them from the United States. So he was doing a tariff on one hand. On the other hand, he was helping people that he was bailing out with money. If it doesn't sound like it makes sense, it's because it doesn't. Then, so they may change the tariffs when he and Xi meet. And the other thing that is concerning, he now is going to send election observers or election monitors to the New York elections on next Tuesday, even though early voting is going strong already in the New York mayor's race. And he's going to send election monitors to California. California has on the ballot whether they can draw lines to redistrict or not. Now, the only point that I could see that he's sending the election monitors in is to try and intimidate voters. Because nobody's asked for election monitors. Nobody's said that they think there's going to be some mischief. So why are you fulfilling something that does not require you to fill? The other question I ask is that these are state elections. State of California on their voting. New York, City of New York on their mayor. These are not even federal elections. So let me get this right. You're going to send federal officers in to monitor local elections, not local officials, not local police. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Brilliant President. Who's going to pay for them? If the government is shut down, you're going to pay for federal monitors that are not requested, but federal workers are not being paid? I mean, think about that. So are you saying you're arranging some spinoff friends of yours to pay for federal monitors? Because if the federal government is paying for it, how are they doing that if the government is paid, is shut down? So you can't unshut down just for these people. So maybe you're using private resources or waiting until the shutdown ends to be paid. They're going to just do it and get paid whenever. Something about this does not make sense. New York Times is talking about how federal workers are struggling during this time. They're going to food banks. They're trying to find other jobs. And it's getting so tight that the federal union for federal employees is now saying, y'all stop it, even if the Dems got to cave. And then there are many of us saying, don't cave, because if the Dems cave, November 1st, which is just a few days away, you've got the open enrollment for Obamacare. You have what is the limits in terms of the health care premiums that will go through the roof. And you can't trust them, in my opinion, to say we'll talk about it in January. Once they get past this, they will have done what Donald Trump always wanted to do, undermine Obamacare, end it. The other thing that is so heart-wrenching to me is that 40 million people will lose their SNAP benefits. And you already have some states saying that they cannot go past the October 31st deadline. And the USDA is refusing to release $6 billion in contingency funds if the shutdown does extend since beyond October 31st. So you got SNAP, 40 million people directly impacted, 20 million impacted with health care. And the president is raised $300 million to build a ballroom so he can entertain heads of states and his friends. I want you to look at that picture now, whether you're Republican, Democrat, whatever you want to join as a political party. Look at that picture. I'm going to pay construction workers to tear down the east wing of the White House and build me a ballroom while federal employees are going to food banks. People are trying to get second or third jobs. Premiums may go up on people's health care. SNAP programs, 40 million people find themselves with no food assistance. But I need me a ballroom so I can party harder. If that ain't let them eat cake, I don't know what is. So let's talk about it. I am absolutely anxious to hear your feedback, your thoughts, your questions, your concerns. Happiness Donuts saying $3 million for a ballroom. Why can't they just erect tents for events? They can. I've been to many tent events at the White House. But they are not doing that because that's not what Nero wants. Nero wants a grand ballroom party. Look at what he's done to the Oval Office. He has all these gilded, golden, they painted in gold and it looks like a Trump hotel. The Oval Office. So you can imagine how over the top he's going to have his ballroom. While federal workers don't know when they're going to make their paycheck. This is the second week they didn't get paid. He's building a ballroom. Let's take a break. It's Hot Button Monday. I let some of mine out. It's time for you to let yours out. Let it out, let it out, let it out. 1-877-532-5797. Or go to the message board at live stream at National Action Network. Sharpton. Keeping it real. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, "The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born." I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
and I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Tried to turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
It's been a long time coming, but I know.
1968, Dr. Martin King was killed word to always in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dream.
Because I have a dream today.
When they can't kill the dream.
You live, sir.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back as Hot Button Monday. And certainly we're talking about all of what is going on, the ramifications of the shutdown, and what it's going to do to SNAP recipients, what it's going to do to premiums on health care. And in the middle of that, Mr. Trump, the president, is building a $300 million ballroom. He's also meeting with Xi in primitive China, and the next day, dealing with tariffs. A lot to talk about. Many of you watched my show over the weekend and saw that Hakeem Jeffries was on Saturday night, did his first interview after endorsing Mandani in New York, and but said they were going to hold the line. They were not backing down on Trump. The AFGE, the Federal Workers Union, said y'all should open the government, which is first union to kind of break with it, but they represent the federal workers. Let's talk about all that. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, Twitter.com, The Rev Al, Twitter.com, The Rev Al. All go to the message page at live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. James Thomas is saying to Michelle Cooks on our message page, the American people who voted for Trump on November 4th, 2024, worse that we told what he was going to do and nobody listened to us. Yeah, that's undoubtedly true. Jane, it doesn't make me feel better, but it's true. KG is saying, why open a government that doesn't serve its people? All right, let's get everybody's views. And let me say by way of announcements, keep watching Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday. I promise you, I will not waste your time this weekend. We had the first interview with Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries about his position on the mayor's race, about the shutdown. We had the Democratic candidate for the governor of New Jersey, Mickey Sherrill on. On and on and on. We had the congresswoman from Detroit. We really tried. We had Ben Crump on, and the mother of A.J. Owens, who this Netflix film is about, the perfect neighbor. I don't waste your time. Keep watching Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. And then the Saturday Action Rally had a great rally Saturday. Packed, new members joining, and was there, did the keynote, but our inspirational message came from a young minister who I met. He was a member of Canaan Baptist Church. His mother was killed during the 9/11. She worked in the trade center, and he stayed with us for about 9 weeks till he just came to terms with his mother wasn't coming back. Went on to college, then on to seminary, became a minister. Now he's pastoring in the Bronx, and one of our real strong members, he preached the inspirational message on Saturdays. You ought to come to the Saturday Action Rally every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice, 145th Street, Lenox Avenue, in the community, in the village of Harlem. Or you can watch it live on Impact Television. And let's go right to the phones. Let's get started. I'm anxious to hear what you have to say with all this going on. Let me start in Chicago with my dear friend, the beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Well, good afternoon, Rev. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing very well.
Good. You have such great shows, and let us continue to keep Reverend Jackson in our prayers.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really getting hotter by the day. And I say to the Democrats, don't cave in. You went this far, and that's what they want you to do. And this Carolyn Levitt, the press secretary, she is a despicable liar and do it with a smile on her face. She has sold S-O-L-D, her S-O-U-L, and she continues on. She has no repentance at all. And I'm going to say this as I usually say, Mary Trump warned us what Trump was all about. Nobody listened, and you see what's going on. This guy goes to all kinds of summits with no results, traveling on the taxpayers' money, and it is just awful that you will go in and tear down a building, and he owes everything to these donors that are giving all the money. So beware, everybody, of what's going on, and I pray for all the Democrats. Hang in there, please. And what is this business of Miss McIver? What is she up on charges for?
Yeah, I had Congresswoman McIver on as well Saturday. She went to the where the deportation people are being held, those being detained, the detention center, I guess they call it. And members of Congress are supposed to be able to go to detention centers, review them, because they're federal facilities. They blocked her, and they blocked another member of Congress that was with her, and blocked the mayor of Newark. Got into some kind of back and forward, and it ended up that they arrested her and said that she assaulted a federal ICE officer, and that's what they prosecuted her for. And and she went to a hearing earlier last week now, and they're really trying to give her time. And she did her interview with us on Saturday night on Politics Nation. It is incredible.
And the reason I asked you, because I was watching and I didn't see her hit anybody. So that's what I'm saying. You have the
last call before break, sir.
All of these guys, what's her name? What's this, Bovino, that's throwing smoke bombs at all the people. And now he's going to get in court and he's going to tell a lie and they're going to let him off. And then the main thing, why is Trump bombing? He's going to get us in a war. He doesn't know whether those people have drugs or not. He didn't investigate. And thank you, and enough said.
All right, let's take a break. Always good to start the week off with Miss Eunice. That's a blessing. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself.
So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again. Do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited. And you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9. And we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me with other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors
want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people that you can help along the way. But don't be
keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. It's Hot Button Monday. Let's go right back to the phone. Let's go to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio. Demetrius.
Hey, thank you, Reverend Sharpton. It's always nice talking to you.
Nice to talk to
first
you.
Of all, okay, I appreciate it. First of all, I think it's outrageous. Donald Trump, he oversees, with different summits with other countries when the United States is going through controversy here, like say with the SNAP program, running out of funds, what it cause, millions of people not be able, to buy food. And also people who in residential centers, because a lot of them depend on public assistance for them to stay in those centers. And the school programs, lunch programs would be cut. So a lot of people would suffer, will not have the proper food, and will not be able to go through treatment. Excuse me, if the funds are cut. And for him to want to build a new wing on the White House, $300 million, to me, that's just ignoring the plight of this country, because with so many people suffering, so many government workers out of work, and some is working without pay. He should be here in this country, not dependent on Congress to negotiate. Since he wants to be the main controller of this country, he should be here trying to negotiate some type of contract between the Democrats and the Republicans. If his negotiation skills is so strong, but he gives credit for what's happening in Israel with Gaza and what he's saying with China and the terrorists, and with Thailand and the other countries in Asia, where he can do something here. If he want to use executive order for all the things he want to do in the U.S., he can use the executive order to put money into SNAP, or put money into the program where people can go to work here in this country. But he's choosing for political reasons to help out only the people who he wants to or his allies, even though he shouldn't have that type of power in the beginning. But if he's going to use it for something, for the American people who, especially those who put him in office. For those who put him in office, they're the main ones going to suffer. These programs, be cut. When it comes to housing, when it comes to road repair, when it comes to education, But to me, that is showing disrespect for the working people and for the poor people. And the senators here, especially the Republicans, who is going along with this program, that their constituents is going to suffer. So they should come together before November 1st, put together some type of amendment to keep the programs going, but their own constituents is going to suffer. And also, I believe as Democrats and even Republicans, especially those in urban cities, they voted for different candidates they think are going to pull us out of the situation we're in. But I think it's very important that people, to study the candidates and don't fall for anything they say. They have to, candidate have to tell them something that's going to stand the test of time. Because when even with Donald Trump, he treated in Israel, that treaty is falling apart. They don't have a treaty with China. That treaty probably fall apart. He had a treaty with Russia. Putin is ignoring him. That's not coming to pass. They just have paper treaties. And the American people have to make sure they don't fall for any candidate that make promises. But when it comes tough and when the wind starts blowing, the house fall down. Because I remember when President Biden, he put in some policies when it came to not to pay student loans. They come to the farmers bill, and different different programs he put into effect or tried to make it easier for people. But it wasn't able to stand against Congress. So even when it comes to the mayor of New York, people got to be careful, because this country is based on private industry. You can't make landlords, have people to stay in their property and don't pay rent. You can't control prices just in one city. It's going to take the whole country, going to take Congress, to legislate prices. So people got to be very careful and don't fall for a pipe dream. They got to try to vote for someone who's going to help establish policies that's going to last, because we'll be in a bad situation. And then if we have to deal with a person in office for 2 or 4 years, for whatever time they're in office. And I just like to say,
I think, and I'll let you finish, but I think that you raise a very good point about how this president, in the thaws of all of this, is really giving us paper thin treaties, understandings, because there already been several incidents in Gaza since he claimed this victory. Wanted to get the Nobel Prize for it, it didn't. And I think that the same is happening with some of these tariffs. He's like back and forth on them. I mean, the audacity to say he's going to put tariffs on Canada, because one province, Ontario, I believe it was, ran a commercial playing Ronald Reagan, who's like the patron saint of the conservatives, saying why tariffs were bad. Then they try to say, well, that didn't exactly say what Reagan said. And then you go back to fact check it. It's exactly what Reagan said, and the videotape proves it. So, it shows that Trump will try to shiny objects and I did this, I stopped 7 wars. But when you dig under the surface, a lot of that is not true. I think you're absolutely correct about that.
Yeah, yes, it's not, because, let's say when the capture they had of Ronald Reagan, let's say it's something that but he said that's a fact, and a lot of Republicans hold him up as someone they look up to, and they can't change that fact. That just shows that Donald Trump, he's not really a true Republican. He's using the party for his own goals,
right?
Because he believes in terrorists. He don't believe in a Republican party agenda. If it don't fit what he wants, he gonna ignore them. He's looking at what for his own benefit, where he can get out of society, he can make money off this country, or he can have his way. He want to have a big ballroom, all grandiose, so he can feel like an emperor at the expense of the American people. And last, I just want to say, hopefully in this country, it was a mass shooting at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania over the weekend. Some of the other universities, when they have their homecoming, people have to stop and think, don't shoot each other. Don't think killing is a badge of honor. Living like the Wild Wild West and think it's something fun to kill people and to shoot these people's lives, and it just call it self-destruction among our own community.
Right.
It's not a game.
I think you're absolutely right. I love it. Thank you for your call. And
thank you.
Let me on our message board, George Jackson says, hello, Reverend Sharpton. Are you willing to start a civil rights training for our community? Yes. Not only am I willing, it's in the plans. We are in the process now of getting a larger headquarters. And one of the things, and we probably will have it up and running by the end of the year. And one of the things I'm going to do in there is an institute on civil rights that I'm going to teach myself because I'm convinced, George, after seeing several episodes of young activists, sincere, committed, step up, and then fizzle out. And it's not because they didn't intend and then wasn't sincere. They just didn't know how to build, what to build. Because some of my generation that knew it didn't pass it on, like John Lewis and Jesse Jackson and Julian Bond, the generation ahead of mine, kind of trained some of us. So I think I owe that to our cause, our people, and our community, and I'm going to do that. And I thank you for raising that. I'm going to be announcing that when we get in the building, which should be in a couple of weeks, but it'll be ready by the end of the year. One of the programs I'm going to do in there is that, because I think we've got to really, really, really train the next generation. They got to know what to do, what not to do. They got to be prepared to be tough. They're going to be attacked. They're going to be called names. You can live the perfect life. They're going to say you didn't. All of that needs to be taught. Let's go to Reverend Cynthia in Atlanta, Georgia, WAOK. Cynthia?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Reverend Al?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry about that. I'm calling because we're talking government shutdown. We're talking the going away of SNAP benefits. They said if that's going to affect the Medicaid, even though they had set an initial date.
They said it was what?
Have they said if there is going to be any effect on the Medicaid?
Yeah, all of that will be affected as of November 1st. Yes, they have set a date.
Okay. All right. And then have we, as church body, as leadership, looked at our churches being sanctuaries and cities of refuge as it recognized in the Bible, that we put up medical facilities, that we bring in doctors in our facilities?
Yeah, I have a Zoom call with our clergy council, I think Wednesday, and then I'm going to reach out for a broader pastoral council to do before the week is out, so that as we hit November 1st, we want to be able to announce what churches will be available to do it. Many of our churches have doctors and medical people in members of their church, so we need to structure that. But your spirit is running directly with mine. We need to not just protest it, we need to also service the people.
Exactly, and I would love to be a part of that. I'll leave you with my email off the air.
You take her off there and get her information directly to me. I love it. Thank you. Spirit giving us,
all right, thanks so much.
Giving us a kin spirit. I love it. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising. But one black man, Rich Newton, has said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and essence will happen, because that's who we are. this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house, house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you. No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We're gonna shine up and shake. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
Please receive one of the greatest voices for the urban community. One, amen. Not them yet. This is one of the greatest voices, not many of the greatest voices. We're going to adjust the program quickly at this time. This man has spoken out. He stood on the front line. He has been a man for the people, of the people. Please receive Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you, Bishop. To the Franklin family and to all of us gathered, Aretha Franklin was not only an unparalleled artist, she was a civil rights activist and freedom fighter. It is easy to celebrate the gifts that God gives. It is more difficult when someone uses those gifts in ways that enhances humanity. Aretha Franklin was given special gifts, but she used it in a special way.
And she would not want us to celebrate her without talking about she stood for something. She never shamed us. She never disgraced us. She never made us make excuses for her. She represented the best in our community, and she fought for our community until the end. I first met Miss Franklin when I was a teenager. I'd become youth director of New York Operation Breadbasket, and she would come to the strategy meetings with Reverend Jackson. And I would hear the stories of how when Dr. Martin Luther King couldn't make payroll, Harry Belafonte and Aretha Franklin went on an 11-city tour to raise money for Martin Luther King. A lot of artists hang up Dr. King's photo, but Aretha went and raised money and gave it and worked free. Her daddy marched with Dr. King, and she never stopped supporting. As the years went by and I developed National Action Network, and she would call my radio show and have me come to her affairs. She called me one day. She said, "Rev Mal, I want to send you something." I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "What's your home address?" And she sent it. About 3 days later, I got a check made out National Action Network signed by Aretha Franklin. I saw about a month later, I said, "You know, I was so blown away. I grew up looking up to you that I framed that check." She said, "Boy, don't you have a copy machine?" She said, "You don't know how I am with my bank accounts. You better cash that check." And but all of her life, she supported the causes. She was a feminist before feminism was popular. She was a civil rights activist when it wasn't popular. She gave us pride, and she gave us a regal bar to reach. And that's why we're all here. We don't all agree on everything, but we agree on Aretha. And she fought for everybody. I remember when we were used to picket, Charles Williams and all of us jumping on the record industry, she said, "Now y'all leave Clive Davis alone. He's one of the good ones." She loved Clive and said, "We got to remember what happened to the Irish and what happened to Jews and what happened to blacks." And that is why we remember her legacy, because she sang a song for all of us. She was the soundtrack of the civil rights movement. If you track where we are, you can follow where Aretha had us. That's why when I look at her and James Brown, whose daughter is here, and others who paid a price, that opened the door, but never forgot where they came from. She was rooted in the black church. She was bathed in the black church. And she took the black church downtown and made folks that didn't know what the Holy Ghost was shout in the middle of a concert. You never saw her perform without her doing gospel, because she never was one to forget where she came from. And that's why we give her this great homegoing. We thank her for what she did with Dr. King. We thank her for what she's done with Reverend Jackson. We thank her for what she's done with all of us. And that is why, you know, the other Sunday on my show, I misspelled respect. And a lot of y'all corrected me. Now I want y'all to help me correct President Trump to teach him what it means. And I say that because when word had went out that Miss Franklin passed, Trump said she used to work for me. No, she used to perform for you. She worked for us. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. Reaper never took orders from no 532 5797 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com, The Rev Al, or go to the message page at live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. And we kicking off the week right, and this is going to be a crucial week as we deal with the countdown on the shutdown, and as we deal with these announced plans to send monitors into California and New York for the election day next week. Early voting already starting, as we see what happens with the tariffs, with President Donald Trump meeting with Xi of China and South Korea on Wednesday. A lot is rolling this week, so we could not kick off the week with a better person that is more informed, plugged in, and bold. And that is, of course, Antoine Seawright. And Antoine, of course, for you that may be listening for the first time, I don't know if that's possible, but in case, he's a Democratic strategist and founder and CEO of Blueprint Strategy, LLC. Antoine, first of all, thank you for being with us another Saturday, and tell me what is piquing your interest that we need to watch out for, particularly between now and next Monday. I don't hear Antoine.
Rev, it's good to be with you always on Hot Button Mondays. It's the hottest day of the week.
Yeah, it is.
Because you and I get to have some time together. But look, the long and short of what I am especially paying attention to is the SNAP funding that's scheduled to end or run out on November 1st. 42 million Americans will be impacted. And make no mistake, do not let the perception be anyone's reality. It's farmers, it's veterans, it's banks, it's grocery stores, it's food banks, it's our active duty soldiers and their families, it's seniors, it's school districts, it's children's, it's the entire economic ecosystem here in America that SNAP is the underpinning for. There's a perception, and there's always been a long-term perception that somehow or another supplemental nutrition assistance programs benefit black folks and those sitting around in the ghetto that do not want to work. And that's the biggest lie that's ever been told. You'd be surprised the numbers by geographics, by geopolitics, race, gender, and even socioeconomic status, those who have some sort of tie to supplemental nutrition assistance programs, better known as SNAP. The reason why it's important, because one, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and if they wanted to do a deal, even emergency funding at USDA, they could and they would, per the memo that was put online on September 30th that has been taken down. But also, this is the same extreme group of people who do not live the Matthew 25 and 40 concept, who put the largest cut to supplemental nutrition assistance programs in the history of this country to the tune of $1 billion. To give you an example, in my home, poor, rural Republican state of South Carolina, that impact is $100 million, Reverend Al, on the impact side. So I can't imagine what it is for some of these other states who also enjoy these ACA subsidies that are places that Donald Trump won.
Now, are we seeing any active organizing in these places to say, look at what you got, you voted for it? I'm hearing people saying they're having buyer's remorse, but I don't know that there's any structured organizing on the ground from labor, from DNC. Are you aware of anything that you could share?
Well, I think folks are raising the alarm, and you have a lot of state leaders, particularly Republican states, who are who are scared as you know what about this because they know the impact that SNAP has on their individual states. We've seen a number of Democratic members of Congress writing to their state leaders who are in Republican states saying use your reserve funds to keep SNAP benefits going. So there's some organic organizing happen, but rallying in the streets, we have not seen that to this point, because what's been true about the MAGA movement, Reverend Al, is that people do not believe it until it happens. And so there are a lot of people who think, well, we got to November 1st, something is going to happen because these people know how important this issue is. Unfortunately, that's the same mindset that got us the Donald Trump presidency. He can't do that. No way they won't do that. And look at the place and posture we're in this country.
Now, the fact that Trump is not getting any backlash keeps him where he is. The fact that he may start getting backlash after November 1st, which is just a few days away, could also mean he changes his posture if he starts getting some real backlash. Because as you say, 42 million people in SNAP, these are many people, if not most of them, coming out of red states, his supporters. Let me tell you another part of that. A lot of Walmart's customers are customers that use these kinds of SNAP certificates or SNAP cards, and Walmart's profits would go down considerably if they could not provide services for people. I think when that starts happening, Donald Trump, who's now singing a deep bass or baritone, is going to start singing soprano.
Well, Rev, he's going to be doing that. He's going to be singing and running in the back of the church because he's going to be afraid. The fact of the matter is, if you add the SNAP challenges to hit on November 1st, and also November 1st is the same day that the marketplace opens up for those who are searching for health insurance, and we all know 18.2 million people in red states receive those ACA enhancement subsidies. We also know that 76% of those who receive those subsidies are in places that Donald Trump won the election, so you have a large swath of MAGA supporters. We also know that a family who's paying $8,000 a year because of those subsidies will likely pay $24,000 to $28,000, in some cases $32,000. Both of those things are going to hit this country at the same time. And so Donald Trump may be a lot of things, but he's no political dummy. So look for him to try to be the guy who starts the fire, adds kerosene and gasoline, go around the corner, put on his firefighter suit, and says, I saved the day.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go 1-877-532-5797. Let me go to Philadelphia to Disco Brian. Disco Brian, you're keeping it real. Sharpton and C-Right.
It's an honor to be here amongst my favorite media figures on the planet. That includes you, Antoine C-Right, who said the kindest thing other than what Sharpton has said regarding me that I've heard last time we talked. And I just can't tell you what an honor it is to be here. Gentlemen, I want to get right into it, though, since it's Hot Button Monday. Did either of you see what Mehdi Hassan posted just minutes after Leader Jeffries endorsed Zoran Mamdani last week?
I think I did. Refresh my memory. What did he say?
Mehdi Hassan, the journalist who started his career at the Qatari government's Al Jazeera channel, wrote this, and this was a quote tweet. Said, "What a joke. Somebody primary this man," referring to, of course, Leader Jeffries. Mehdi was quote tweeting a man by the name of Ken Klippenstein. This is a vicious journalist, if you want to call it that, who's been parroting Kremlin talking points his entire career. Ken Klippenstein. Rev, are you familiar with him?
Yeah, I am.
And are you familiar with him, Mr. C-Wright?
I am.
Yeah, so this is, guys, I hate this. I know everybody is just falling in love with the man who will be mayor, and I want to too, and I love him. I love him because I love everybody. But Ken Klippenstein, gentlemen, is one of the select few people of his under 50 people that Mamdani is following on Blue Sky. So I look at stuff like that and it bothers me. Asked about Mamdani in this quote that Ken Klippenstein shared, it's a quote from Hakeem Jeffries, which says, quote, that he's privately communicated some of my concerns with respect to some of the views that Mamdani has expressed in terms of foreign policy. So that was the quote that then Mehdi Hassan shared and said, "What a joke! Let's primary leader Jeffries." Right? This is what is it? A day or two after Jeffries was literally threatened with death threats. So that's an interesting observation to me. Gentlemen, let's go back.
You lost me because
I'm sorry.
I think that clearly, I've not made an endorsement in the race, but clearly, I don't think it was a shock that Leader Jeffries would endorse the Democratic nominee. Mamdani won the Democratic primary. He's the Democratic leader in the House. Why wouldn't he support the Democratic nominee? That's first of all. I think that there are a lot of people that are raising questions about Mamdani, but I think that when you are running against a guy that had to resign from being governor for sexual cases and another guy that admitted he did hoaxes to build guardian angels, I mean, one of them is going to be mayor. We can't just talk about one without dealing with the alternative, because one of them next Tuesday night is going to be elected mayor. Hold on a minute. I'll be right back. Disco Brian. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, "The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born." I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
It's been a long time coming, but I'm
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
But I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream. have reversed and tried to turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
You live, sir.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Let me go back to the phones. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let me go back to Disco Brian. What I'm saying, Disco Brian, is that in terms of New York City, I think that the dilemma that a lot of us have is that there are serious questions about the progressives and the DSA, the Democratic Socialists, that have been a fuel of Ma'am Danny's campaign, and many of us have said that to him. But then when you look at the record and the situations that led to Andrew Cuomo having to leave the governorship, and you look at Curtis Sliwa, who absolutely says he's all the way to the right and has fabricated, by his own admission. He tried to act like, because I believed the case 40 years ago, I was wrong. He created cases and said he did it. So, I mean, it's hard for us to say that. Now, that does not mean that I disagree with anyone saying they want to hold Zoran Mandani to account and that he should be held accountable. But I'm saying that in terms of not speaker yet anyway, Leader Jeffries, it's a hard choice, and he is the Democratic leader.
Rev, I want to make it clear, I completely understand the political reality that resulted in Jeffries' endorsement of Mamdani, and I support him, just like I supported him when he was forced to do a ceremonial, some ridiculous thing about Charlie Kirk that nobody even remembers, and everybody freaked out about. My point, Rev, is that I'm deeply troubled by the ascendance of any Bernie bro white leftists within the party. I'm concerned, and this is where I return to you with the petition, which doesn't have any signatures yet. I've changed the language a little bit, but Rev, he is continuing to blame Harris for genocide. He has not been asked about his praise for Edward Snowden in tweets from 2013 when he called Obama literally evil. And Rev, he's silent so far on Bernie's continued support for Graham Plattner, the white gentleman in Maine with the Nazi tattoo. So what I want to know, Rev, is, Mamdani went on Andrew Schultz's Flagrant podcast. It was uploaded 4 days ago. So he had Bernie Sanders on for an hour for this beautifully produced video. He's doing videos all the time. Now, a couple weeks ago, Rev, you said that you were going to ask him for maybe a long-form interview here. Did he ever get back to you on that?
I never did it because I got other things on program. It is on this queue for us to ask him this week to come on. So I can't blame that on him. I do have plans.
Okay, that's fine. Rev, I'm sorry. That's totally fine. Here's the thing. As far as I know, the only major black media figure in New York City whose show he's gone on yet is Charlemagne's. And regarding that, Rev, I have a question for you. Did Trump ever feature a clip of you on MSNBC or here on Keepin' It Real trashing Kamala Harris in his ad campaigns last year, Rev?
No, he did not.
And, well, he did feature Charlemagne in his campaign ad that basically everyone said won it for Trump. when Charlemagne was going on one of his anti-Kamala, spiels. But Rev, for some reason, Mamdani has refused many requests from Don Lemon to be interviewed on his show all year. And here's a direct quote from Don Lemon. Quote, "The word on the street is Mamdani is demanding support and endorsements from people he did not support, nor did he endorse. He spoke out against Harris and Biden and told people to withhold your vote. Now he's demanding endorsements, saying, do it now. People are asking, why should I? You didn't support us. You didn't even say, as Kamala did recently, you supported the Democrat." So all I'm asking, Nan family, anybody who wants to sign it, is on change.org. I've retitled it. It's called Protecting Democracy Means Staying in Conversation with It, a petition to the next mayor of New York. Rev, you are the leader of the civil rights movement. I love that Mamdani has stood on stages with you, but there's some questions. He also has regarding Don Lemon, he is the biggest gay black streamer in America, and he lives in New York City. So Mamdani has gone on Pod Save America, who live in Hollywood, the I've Had It podcast, 2 white ladies in Oklahoma, Bulwark with Tim Miller, who lives in Los Angeles, or Vegas. I'm sorry, New Orleans. Mehdi Hassan, who lives in D.C., Hassan Piker, who lives in Los Angeles, and now Flagrant, I guess that guy, he's a member of the Manosphere, whose show Mamdani went on a few days ago, and yeah, he lives in New York, but he voted for Trump, and he's part of the Joe Rogan, Theo Von mold. And Rev, what I'm saying is the soon-to-be mayor of New York, who claims to be defending the civil rights movement and for the LGBTQ community, hasn't sat down with you for a long time, has refused Don Lemon's requests. And Rev, we got to talk about the fact that he posed in a smiling selfie with Uganda's former deputy prime minister, who called for the death penalty for LGBTQ citizens.
All right, I got all of the bill of particulars.
Rev.
You've done it before.
Sorry. Thank you.
And I don't disagree that he needs to handle all of those questions. He needs to come on. He needs to do Don Lemon. I don't disagree. I was responding to why I felt Hakeem Jeffries made the endorsement. And I think that Ma'am Danny, as far as I can see, is going to win. And I think he has to be held accountable. I have in the past supported people and still held them accountable. I've held Dave Dinkins accountable, our first black mayor. I've held Eric Adams accountable, and when things got out of hand, I stepped back. So I have no problems with that. But I'm just explaining, when you're dealing with these options, sometimes you got to go with the option that you have the least risk with. But I am not in any way saying you or Mehdi Hassan should not raise these issues, because they ought to be raised. And I think all of us in public life have to be held accountable. Thank you for your call. Let me ask you this, Antoine. As we deal with this whole battle toward saving ourselves, the Voting Rights Act with Section 2 in jeopardy, when we're dealing with things like the government shutdown and all, is it not time for the left wing and right wing of the Democratic Party, progressives and centrists, to really understand what's at stake here is beyond our ideological differences, that we become inflexible, which only makes the opposition stronger because we're divided? Hold on a minute. I want you to be able to take your time and answer that, because I guess I'm considered left or center, but I'm also one that says I don't have the right to be so set and immovable in my way that I tell 42 million people, I don't care you got SNAP or not. I don't care if you get food assistance. It's my way, the hard way. I don't know that being that dogmatic is justified. We'll be right back. with your answer. And those of you on the phone, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, Sharpton. See right. Be right back. Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, there's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
You're live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real.
You're live,
Keeping
sir.
it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host.
Keeping it real.
Reverend Al Sharpton. Antoine Seawright is a co-host. And let me say again, Politics Nation, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time every Saturday and Sunday. Had two dynamite shows this weekend, from leader Hakeem Jeffries to the mother of A.J. Owens, who this film on Netflix is about, The Perfect Neighbor. We had her on with Ben Crump. We had Congresswoman McIver, who's standing charges for trying to go and do her duties as visiting a detention center for deportees in Newark, where she's the congresswoman. On and on, every Saturday and Sunday. I get those that are right in the middle of what is going on, so I can ask them the questions and get you the answers you need. Also, you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Saturday morning. I'm there looking for you. You that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television or on live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Antoine, I want to go back to the question I raised, and that is that I think that everyone in public life, particularly elected life, but even those of us that may be in positions of influence that's not elected, should be held accountable, should be challenged. I think the question becomes, when do we come to some kind of synthesized agreement, even if we can't agree on everything? I think we need people like Disco Bryant that's going to keep people's feet to the fire, or Mehdi Hassan. But I also think we need people then that can get the ball across the goal line. And I think that the tension is how you decide that. Andrew Young and Jesse Jackson used to tell me that Dr. King used to encourage debate among his staff just before my time. And Andrew would try to get everybody calm, and Dr. King said, no, don't calm them down. I want to hear all sides, the theses and the antitheses, so that we can get to a synthesis. Isn't that politics at its best in our community, Antoine?
Well, the primary process, I oftentimes remind people, is like a political scrimmage in sports. You go hard against each other, not necessarily to tear each other apart, but you go hard to try to earn your spot on who's going to lead the team in the big game. For us in politics, it's Democrats versus Republicans. On the Democratic side, where I fall, we have our primary process in order to figure out who's going to lead us. And when that process is over, we're not mad about who is selected to lead the team. We may not agree 100%, but we let them play the game, and we do whatever we can to support them. And Rev, last week on the show, your street cred went up a whole lot because I had a Presbyterian minister and his wife stopped me in the airport and said, who did not look like you and I, who said, wow, Reverend Sharpton was reiterating your quote from Jay-Z. Me and my wife had to look it up. So your street cred went up about nobody wins when the family feuds when you said it last week on the show. So since I'm a little bit older than you, I'll take you back to Rob Bass in the 80s, where Rob Bass said it takes two to make the thing go right. And that's how I look at our party. The two wings of the party, the progressive left and maybe the center right or the center's right, it's going to take both sides. It takes two to make this thing go right, to make our party right. And I think that's the lens we have to start viewing this from. We can't win without one or another. And I think we've proven that over time. And we're feeling the results of what happens when two does not go right. And I go back to the 2016 election, and I go back to the 2024 election. Both of those, when we've been split as a party in the general election, we've lost, and the country pays a consequence.
Well, and for you that are listening around the country, he's being facetious. He's not older than me. He just had a grandma that played him the right records. On our live stream, on our message board, Rodney Jones says, "My shepherd, I'm watching your fireside chat with Ambassador Andrew Young, John Hope Bryant, and Rachel Maddow, double duty." Yeah, Rachel did the documentary on Andrew Young, and I did the fireside chat with her and Andrew Young and John Hope Bryant a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta at Clark College. Very, very good. And the documentary aired last Friday night. Extremely well done. And Abby Phillip has a book out now on the impact of Reverend Jesse Jackson's 84 and 88 campaign that changed the rules of the Democratic Party. And as most of you know, Jackson has been my mentor since I was 12 years old. So I had her on last night. She did a great job. Forensic Accountant says, just so you know, Antoine, Forensic Accountant says, Lynn Collins said it takes two to make a thing go right. She sure said it. I've heard it 100 times. When I go in and out on the road with James Brown, who was supporting my youth group, I've heard Lynn Collins sing that in person many nights. And there was always a lot of couples in the audience that loved that song. Let's go to Leon in Dallas, Texas. Leon, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and C-Right.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
You remember last time I talked to you, Al, I mentioned the fact that the food stamps might not be coming out. And, well, what do you know? The food stamps probably won't come out. And you're talking about 40-some-odd million people.
42.
Won't be getting 42 million people, right? Okay. There was an expression that was attributed to, incorrectly attributed to Marie Antoinette before the French Revolution. She said, "Let them eat cake." And what that meant was, according to my good friend Charles B., was that the elitists didn't care whether the common people had food or not, because they were doing banquets and they were traveling, and it precipitated, well, of course, the French Revolution. Now, what's going to happen, from your prophetic mindset, if 42 million people don't get food? Is this why the National Guard was maybe sent to some of these cities? Maybe I don't know, are they diabolical enough to have planned this, a long time ago or at some time? Or would they take advantage of this? Because if you got a lot of people that don't have any food, some of them are not going to be nice. And could this be used as a straw that breaks the camel's back so that Adolf Trump can say, oh, well, we're not going to have any more government anymore. We're going to just declare martial law because everybody's acting crazy and they're doing all this thing.
Let me say this, Leon. One, I do not know if they had a plan a long time ago, whether there was a conspiracy to do this to get martial law. I don't know if they're trying to create an atmosphere for martial law so they could suspend the elections, and that's their strategy to get him a third term. I do not know that as fact. Do I put it past them? No, I do not put it past them. Because anytime you have people that will allow people to go up and storm the U.S. Capitol building in broad daylight and threaten to kill the vice president of the United States of your administration, and you say nothing, I wouldn't put anything past them. So to be blunt, I don't know it to be the case, but I would not put it past them given their record. If somebody had told me before January 6th that would you let people storm the Capitol and threaten the vice president and put excrement on the desk of the Speaker of the House, I'd say that's unthinkable. But it happened. And not only did it happen, he got back in office and pardoned them that did it. So I wouldn't put nothing past them. Thank you for your call. Let's take a break. Sharpton. See right. Be right back. Keeping it real.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not going to throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on
WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
Keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
It's been a long time coming, but I'm
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer.
Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled, that you didn't even choose that were sort of just laid out for you by God. In that, it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm gonna keep
America's
marching.
number one civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Antoine, we talked in the last segment about the New York mayor's race, and I've had on Mamdani, I've had on Andrew Cuomo, I had on Eric Adams before he dropped out. Last night I had on Mickey Sherrill, who's the Democratic nominee for governor in Pennsylvania, and then all of us are looking at the redistricting on the ballot in California. As one of our leading political strategists, what are the races that you are going to be watching between early voting in some of these states now and the actual election day vote next Tuesday? What particular races are you going to watch to see that as sort of a bellwether of where the country, at least the electorate, is headed?
Well, Reb, I think that we have to view this, we have to bite this elephant, meaning Democrats, bite this Republican elephant one bite at a time. So every election is certainly on our radar. But I'll just remind folks that there are over 100,000 races on the ballot in just, next week across the country. There's a state court race in Pennsylvania and a ballot initiative that the state's largest newspaper has encouraged folks to vote yes around. But that state court seat is going to help with the balance of the courts in the swing state of Pennsylvania. You mentioned New Jersey and all the statewide races there. There is Virginia, in which the governor's race is on the line, as well as the potential to do redistricting in Virginia if they can hold both the House, the Senate, and the governor's mansion. And then you have 21,000 school board races on the ballot around the country. You also have more African American mayors in small and mid to large size cities than any other election cycle in history. And so I certainly think those things are to watch. You mentioned Prop 50 in California. In Ohio, the goal is to collect 250,000 signatures to ensure that the current maps stay the way they are and there's no out-of-bound redistricting as it is. And so there's a lot at stake up and down that ballot around the country. Early voting has started in some places. Oh, Reverend, I forgot the municipal races that are happening around the country. And the reason why these down-ballot races are so important, as you know, Washington, D.C., which I oftentimes refer to as dysfunctional city, does not always get it right. But a lot of things happen and can happen or cannot happen at the local level. And I told the group just last week, the closer your government is to you, the more important it is for you. That's why our participation in these local races next week are critical and consequential.
Let me go to Moesha in Charlotte, North Carolina. Moesha.
Hello, how y'all doing? Good afternoon to everybody.
Good
how
afternoon.
you doing, Mr. Sharpton?
I'm doing well.
I want to talk about the West Wing of the White House just being destroyed by Donald Trump. I think what I wanted to say is we got to vote up and down the ballot to get this clown out of office. He is destroying this country. And like I said to you last week, Mr. Sharpton, we are living in a danger zone, and it's time for everybody to come together, and we got to vote. We cannot sit here and play defense. We cannot sit here and play nice anymore. We have got to get out and vote and let our voices be heard and get these clowns out of office. And we need a 25th amendment on Donald Trump, because this has got to stop in this country. What he is doing is pure illegal. The terrorists, the White House, everything. And thank you so much for taking my call, Rev.
All right, thank you for your call. Let me go to Lightning Rod in Detroit, Michigan. Lightning Rod, you're keeping it real. Hot Button Monday with Sharpton and C-Right.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Reverend Al C-Right and Uncle Reverend Al and C-Right? I am bringing 1,000,000% energizing power to truth. Now, I want to talk mayoral races and then Cory Booker and Kamala Harris real quick. So as far as the mayoral races over here in Detroit, Rev, it's looking like we're going to have our first woman mayor. But I'm hoping for, in the future, for the greatest mayor, the greatest hip-hop mayor of all time will come back and run for mayor, which is Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, and which is the son to Carolyn Chief Kilpatrick. And I hope that you would do some projects with him. I would hope, a suggestion that you can bring him on your program a number of times, because this man is a living icon legend. And if he can make the greatest comeback ever, it'll be spectacular. Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. But we're going to have our first woman mayor in the history of Detroit over here, because it's a landslide.
Well, I know your female candidate since she was a little girl. Her father, Horace Sheffield, works with me since the beginning of National Action Network. I know Mary all her life, and it looks like she will be the first woman elected mayor. She's way ahead in the polls, did extremely well in the primary. As far as Kwame Kilpatrick, I worked with him when he was mayor both times. He hosted my birthday there every year, and I've seen him since he's gotten out of prison. He's in the ministry. And he has not asked to come on my show, and he's not said what programs he's doing. So if he does make that request, I will certainly entertain it. I know Kwame very well, as I knew his mother, who they funeralized last week.
Okay. As far as I wanted to talk Mondami real quick too, but let me just say that people getting out to vote most definitely is the right thing, but we have to have our celebrities and our rich people to help our people get out and vote, but that has to be a plan laid down for that. That'll get more people out to vote once our people step up more. But now getting to Mondami, listen, his heart is in the right place, and I'm talking directly to Disco Brian. at least his heart is in the right place. Now, as far as him having a pie in the sky dream and it really becoming true, he's going to learn reality that he's going to have to meet the opposition halfway if he wants to get anything done, because it seems like he wants to make so much stuff free this, free that, free. But I think he's going to have to settle for bring it down the cost and settling for halfway, because he's going to have so much opposition against him. But at least his heart is in the right place, Disco Brian. And as far as you keep talking about Kamala Harris, Disco Brian, you ain't doing nothing, man, but that's like saying that the guy from the Sports Center, what's his name, Stephen A. Smith, should be running for president. See, these people put these things out here like him. He could be a double agent, Disco Brian. I want to keep putting out Kamala Harris, or we're going to put out Stephen A. Smith. It'll make it that much more easier.
No, I think Disco Bryant was defending Kamala Harris, saying that he had
to run for mayor again. President again.
No, wait a minute. He said that he was against Ma'am Danny, saying don't vote for Kamala Harris. He wasn't attacking Kamala Harris.
No. He's putting out the narrative that she should run for president again, and that's the wrong narrative.
Why?
Because
how can wait a minute? You're comparing Kamala Harris to Stephen A. Smith?
It's like a narrative of you putting these people out there that's not going to be able to win, and you're going to give the Republicans
why would you say she can't win? She almost won in 107. Wait a minute. She almost won in 107 days, and she only lost by 1.5%. Now, I'm not saying that I'm pushing for her to run. I know her very well, but I certainly don't agree that she can't win.
Rev, if Hillary Clinton can't win, one of the most qualified women of all time, if she can't win, there's going to be a reckoning of a white woman stepping up. But besides that, guess what? She was quiet as a church mouse. She said nothing to Biden when he opened up those borders and he was doing all this silliness. She didn't step up and say a word.
Well,
and then she wants to try to...
I think, Rod, you make good points, but I think that's probably one of your less good points. There is no vice president that you know what she said to Biden any more than you know what J.D. Vance is saying to Trump. We don't know what they're saying. And we know that they're not going to say it in public. Vice presidents are not to be vice presidents to go publicly and say, I told the president this, that, or the other. And you and I don't know what she said to the president. That's an unfair attack.
Rev, it's going to cost her, though, because if I was the vice president, I would have told the world, I do not agree with this man.
And if you were vice president, selected by someone to be vice president, you told the world that, I'd be the first one to say, to throw you out as vice president. That's what not vice presidents should be doing.
But guess what? If he's doing the wrong thing, and it's going to cost her, because everybody's going to look at her and say, why didn't you stand up against this man or tell this man you're doing the wrong thing by opening up borders?
But we don't know that she didn't. We don't know that she didn't. The fact of the matter is, I'm going to repeat it to you. Kamala Harris got 75 million votes. More votes than anybody that ran for president other than Trump. So to say she cannot get elected, I think is incorrect given the facts. But thank you for your call. I think, Antoine, a lot of people forget that Kamala Harris's vote was unprecedented.
Well, Rev, not only was her vote unprecedented, so was her candidacy. And what we cannot underestimate or turn a blind eye to is the fact that it wasn't that she did not do what she could to lay out her positions, her policy agenda on the issues that currently the issues that overlap with the challenges America facing. What we can't underestimate is the fact there were constituencies who are being hurt right now by this presidency who decided to vote against her and vote with Trump. That's not her fault. It wasn't like she didn't lay out a plan, because on the contrary, I'll say to anybody who looks me square in the face, and look, I'm not saying any candidate is perfect, but name one policy agenda that Donald Trump laid out during the course of the campaign that makes sense for Latin America or Latinos in this country. Name one policy that Donald Trump laid out that makes sense for working class whites in this country. Name one policy laid out for farmers or even white women. And those constituencies ended up voting against the the very qualified Democratic nominee. And so when people have their opinions about the race, yeah, the campaign wasn't perfect. Yeah, the candidate wasn't perfect. But I'll take a not-so-perfect Kamala Harris over an unqualified Donald Trump any day of the week.
And I think, again, if you look at the votes, the fact that she got those amount of votes and compare them to votes of people that ran for president in the past that won with less votes, it means that you can't count her out of the race. Am I saying she ought to run? I'm saying it's up to her. Have I talked to her? Yes. A couple of weeks ago, as people that follow me on social media know, we spent some time together. And she's going to make up her mind. She told me in private, and I can say it in public, she's not made up her mind. But I'm certainly not saying what she should or shouldn't do, in my opinion. I would say that to her, but that is not necessary to do until she decides one way or another. But I certainly can't say that people should say she can't win. I don't think that the facts back that up. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Sharpton, see right. It is Hot Button Monday, 1-877-532-5797. Keeping it real. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
and I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, He didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice.
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We gonna shine and the shade. Give me a papa God, rain, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water.
Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is. Every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, the call-in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to.
So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton.
One, two, three, I got the feeling. Hey, baby, baby, I got the feeling. Oh, I got that feeling, yeah. Hey, hey, got that feeling, y'all. Come on. Feeling, baby. Oh, I got the feeling, y'all. Can you put your hands together? I got the feeling. Oh, won't you say, baby, baby, I got that.
You laughing? Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797. And Antoine Seawright is our co-host, as he is every Monday, kicking off Hot Button Monday. Antoine, you are, as I say often, one of the leading political strategists on the scene today. Are you seeing any kind of weakening of President Trump's grip on the Republicans? There seem to be some that have taken issue on his shooting and killing, or ordering the shooting, I should say, or bombing and killing of people in the Venezuela, Caribbean waters around Venezuela, or fleeing Venezuela, saying that he's killing them because they bring drugs into the United States. And there even have been one or two Republicans saying, wait a minute, I'm uncomfortable with no due process. How do we know they're real drug dealers? How do we know we didn't get the wrong person? There are others that have been reportedly to quietly become concerned about SNAP program and about some of his tariffs, particularly the tariffs that has affected some of the soybean farmers. Are you sensing there is any weakening of any of the Republicans toward Trump? And if so, how many, or is it enough to be effective? And do you predict that it will grow as we get closer to the midterms next year?
Party, particularly the MAGA movement, who has hijacked the Republican Party, weakening to Trumpism. What I do see is that we see independent thinkers become more and more prevalent in this political environment. Now, what I am crystal clear about is that does not translate to votes for Democrats, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that, because just because they don't agree with Trump on certain issues, or they may be frustrated with him, does not mean that they are not just as mad or just as pissed off or just as frustrated with Democrats. I think Democrats have to earn every vote, and our earning of the vote looks a lot different than Republicans. What I do think will happen, Red, particularly as we get past the midterms, is you will see people start to think more independently, because they understand that the Trump presidency, there will be life after that, and it will come to an end. And you will see some within the Republican ecosystem start to soften their grip with Trump. But I don't think you'll see a full unlocking of the grip, because every Republican who's thinking about being relevant in 2028 wants the support not only of Donald Trump, but the MAGA movement.
Let me go back to the phone. Let me go to Lola in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Lola.
Yes, Reverend Al and Mr. Seawright. Hi. Good to talk to you gentlemen today. I wanted to say a couple of things. So I just wanted to start off by saying this, that a lot of people came after Hakeem Jeffries for not endorsing Mondani. Now he has, and now we have people calling about, oh, he's done this and done that. Mondani is the Democratic nominee. It took him a while to endorse him, but he has. And so we have to, you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. So I'm just going to leave that part there, because now you get backlash if you do, you get backlash if you don't. But my thing that I wanted to touch on is that this thing with Trump, he's going to try to get in a third term, and he's going to try to do it by testing the courts that it wasn't consecutive, that he didn't do 3 consecutive terms, that he, won and then he wasn't elected, then he came back. So this would only be the second one in a consecutive term. And he's going to test the courts, and he's going to try to do it in 2028. And they are pushing this Constitution to the point where there are no guardrails, there is no oversight, there is nothing. And people have to get out and vote and for the midterms, but also in Pennsylvania, we have a big election coming up November the 4th with the 3 Supreme Court justices. The ads are all over the TV. They're pouring all this Republican money in, because if they get control over that court, then they're going to flip all the stuff here in Pennsylvania. And when we also have a district attorney election that's coming up, with one of the candidates was running as a Democrat. He lost, and now he's running as a Republican again in November. So we have all of this stuff going on across the country, but Pennsylvania is in that spotlight as well, and people really need to get out. The last couple of years, Reverend Al, we've only had 17% of people come out. Please, Black people, we have to do better. We got to come out and vote, and people are going to go hungry. They're closing shelters in Delco, which is a little bit above Philly, putting people out on the street. The money's run out. The money is running out for SNAP. And I hate to say this, but what is that saying, Reverend Al? A hard head makes a soft bottom. And now people who voted for Trump and voted for this nonsense are, when November the 1st comes, which is actually Saturday, and there are so people are supposed to get their stuff, that Friday or that Monday, and there's nothing there, then will this country see that these people do not care about you? It hurts so bad. These people don't care about you. You have to understand that the people in the Appalachians, the people in West Virginia, all these people who voted for him, the Latino men, and all of these people who voted against VP Harris, do you see what this man has done? He cares nothing about you. It's not about the color of your skin. It is the green of the money, and that's who he's helping, the 1% of these rich billionaires. So 1% of people in this country are now over all of us. Everybody is feeling the squeeze. Everybody's seeing you got to help. Even if you are doing okay, you still got to help your family members who've been laid off, furloughed. People we know, I know people who haven't received their first checks because of this the government shutdown. So if this goes on, people won't have any money. People are standing out in food lines who have jobs and are still reporting to work. So Reverend Al, we got to put our boots on the ground, get your fans out, get your cowboy hats on, and get out here and vote. Everybody, go pick somebody up. You don't have a reason now. A lot of people not even working. Some people furloughed. Don't you see what is happening to this country, that if you don't vote and if you vote for the wrong person, that your interests are going to be damaged? And nobody's perfect. People want a perfect person. There's nobody perfect. No one in this world is perfect. So why do you expect the person that you elect to be perfect? When we get them in, we have to hold them responsible for what we want them to do. But we need to get somebody in at least that is going to be on our side. We have Republicans who care nothing about us. They care nothing about your health. They don't care if you eat. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about anybody. Is this who we want to run the country? No.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I think Lola preached a sermon for us. Sharpton, see right.
You can pass the virtual offer.
Yeah, she sure did. That's why I didn't interrupt her. Let's take a break. Be right back. More of you on the phones. We have another segment left. Line them up. 1-877-532-5797. Be right back.
I had a thought this morning that I wanted to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors. But there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about it is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that
It's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in the media to learn from this man who is
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Don't forget, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will be right on the subjects that directly affect your life. One of the things that I was determined as I built the media platforms, this radio show nationwide, the Sunday show, radio nationwide, the Saturday and Sunday TV shows, is that I wanted to deal with things that was on the ground affecting people, not deal with some pie in the sky by and by when you die, not deal with some theories to show how smart my friends are that they can quote books. But when you are facing 42 million people about to lose their food supplements, 20 million people facing possible rise in by great percentage points their premiums on health care, that's what you need to be talking about. When we're dealing with the fact that there are the deportation of people that are American citizens, not only to Mexico and to South America, to Africa, to the Caribbean. And when we look at the fact that we're looking at a Hurricane 5, it's up to a Hurricane 5, about to hit Jamaica and Cuba and Haiti. And it's not even the top of the news because these are black folks. And we're not even talking about it. That's why I wanted to be on with a media platform, because I want to bring things that others won't bring. And I'm going to get the people in power, in position. I'm not getting you some people you don't know. I'm going to get the right ones, like Hakeem Jeffries and others, and ask them the questions that we want to have answered. So watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, MSNBC. And then you that are in the tri-state area of New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in Harlem. And this will be the Saturday before Election Day. There's early voting going on in New Jersey right now, early voting going on in New York. Saturday is the last Saturday before Tuesday's election. And we need to really see you at the rally Saturday. Really see you at the rally Saturday. You in the tri-state area. You that are not in the tri-state area, you can watch it live on Impact Television. I know, you no matter what you do, you're going to have criticism. And I remember 14 years ago when I started Politics Nation on MSNBC, people, he ain't coming up to Harlem no more every Saturday. That's the end of that. He got a TV show now. Well, I've been there just about every Saturday. I might miss 2 a year. Might. Some years I didn't miss any. Then they say, well, he ain't going to show up on TV all the time. 4 years I did 5 nights a week, never missed a show. Since then, been on weekends. Only missed one show. I flew to South Africa for Nelson Mandela's the celebration 100th birthday. We landed late, and I only did half that show. So don't let people tell you what you're not going to do. Do you, and let people have to run around guess whatever it is they want. Also, let me say this in terms of announcements. You that are not in the New York area, by the way, you can watch it live every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. On Impact Television, which is the only national television network, Black Gospel, owned by blacks. And you can watch it also at nationalactionnetwork.net on live stream. I also want to announce, you that watched Politics Nation last night, I had on Abby Phillip, who's a anchor at CNN. Those are competing station. Wanted her on. She has a book that comes out tomorrow on my mentor's race for president, 84 and 88, called Jesse Jackson and the Search for Black Political Power. I recommend it. I think people ought to read it. We do not, in my opinion, Antoine, appreciate where we are if we don't realize how we got here and the sacrifices made. We take things for granted. And one of the reasons, among others, that I've had such respect for you is your regard for Jim Clyburn. Clyburn and Jesse's around the same age. I'm in between them and you. Those that do not understand where we came from don't put the right value in it. I think it was Howard Thurman, the great theologian, philosopher, said, it's a strange freedom to be adrift in a world of men that has no sense of being anchored to anything. I read that quote daily. You got to be anchored to something. And I want people to read this book because there was a reason the Democratic Party rules were changed and made it possible for a Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, or even when I ran, to pick up delegates. There was a reason certain things happened. Just like when we did the documentary on Andrew Young, and I went to Atlanta with Ambassador Young and Rachel Maddow from MSNBC, and I with John Hope Bryant, because people need to know these things did not just happen automatic. And one of the things, Antoine, I want you to respond to, people don't realize, I was talking to a lady in the airport, in fact, leaving Atlanta, and she said, I'm glad y'all are doing this, Reverend, because I have a daughter. She herself was like 30. She said, I have a daughter who's 15 that does not understand what is all the hoopla about a black president, because in her life, she 8 years, half her life there was a black president. She had no idea how unbelievable that was to us.
Well, Rev George Santiano, as you know, once said, if we do not learn from history, we're bound to repeat it. And some of the very same battles that we see happening now are the same battles that were fought in the early days of Jesse Jackson and your life and Jim Clyburn and Medgar Evers and so many others. And people are confused about how it's playing out, but they shouldn't be confused because these things have happened before. History has a rhythm, and most of the time, people who don't understand our struggle have always danced to the rhythm to make it benefit them. And that's why you see us ramping up the energy and the effort, people like me, you, and others, around why we have to put a stop to this so that future generations will not have to deal with this. So they start talking about cutting things like SNAP and doing away with health care and the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act and all these key things that have given black progress a lap in this country, they've done that before. And that's why we have to be so much so in tune to what the history is, but also our power in shaping our destiny, Rev. And I just appreciate you keeping your foot on the gas and not worrying about any stop signs or any red lights when it comes to fighting for our people.
I think that it is our obligation to do that. Let me also say that we've got to also be honest and about some of our internal stuff. I've heard, and to my dismay, some blacks talking about, well, I don't care about SNAP. I work every day. I've got a nice house. This whole class thing in the black community is ridiculous. The same people that are trying to that are allowing the SNAP programs to go out of existence are the same people trying to take away Section 2 of the voting rights bill in the Supreme Court, and the same people that end in DEI that got you your middle-class job or got you your contract as a businessman. So don't be so, if you would be quiet, we would know how ignorant you are. It is not just SNAP. It is the whole body politic they're trying to change, that if you're middle-class black, rich black, or poor black, or that needs a food assistance, it's the same body politic that wants to marginalize and punish us. And I think people need to stop this dividing ourselves, because they don't divide us when they come after us.
Well, Reb, a house divided cannot stand, and it's SNAP benefits today. But in 1966, nobody thought that it would be the Voting Rights Act in 2025.
Right.
Nobody thought there would be attack on health care. Nobody thought it would be education. Nobody thought it would be DEI. Nobody thought it would be marriage equality. And nobody thought that these issues would hit them. And so it's SNAP today, and people may say, well, I don't benefit from SNAP. Well, yes, you do. From the grocery stores to the farmers to the banks, to the local gas station that may sell food, because there are food deserts all around the country. Every single person in America is somehow directly or indirectly tied to SNAP, whether it's veterans, seniors, school districts, active military families. You ride around this country, including down the street from where I live in South Carolina, Reb, or up the street from where I live in Washington, and you go look at those food banks lines. It ain't the people that you think that just poor on the street, homeless, looking for food. It's people in uniform, Reverend Al.
That's right.
With their families in those food bank lines getting reserves, because they don't know what the future holds. It's the airport workers. It's it's teachers who are working 2 or 3 jobs. Forget about trying to make ends meet. They're putting 2 ends together, hoping they meet. And so we've got to get up off this class warfare conversation, because if SNAP benefits today, it could be housing, it could be black unemployment, or anything else tomorrow.
Happiness Donut saying on the message page, the bougie folks, Rev. Yeah, the bougie folks is exactly right. And they ought to understand they got bougie because some folks who never, ever had a bank account, who never, ever had any kind of life insurance, laid down in the gutters in the South and opened up the doors for them to get their contracts, get their homes, get their status. So bougie don't mean you become ignorant. Every time I walk in 30 Rockefeller Center to do my TV show, I know the price that was paid, which is why I don't act like I am there just because of talent. I'm there because some people that didn't have the talent made sure that they've got to program some of us. All right, let me thank Antoine Seawright. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. You on the message board. Thank you for kicking it off. Every day I'll open up, you all already got the messages there, and I appreciate it. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you tomorrow.